Hi, my name is Mike Dreiblatt, and welcome to the Bullying Prevention Series, Stand Up, Stand Strong, Stand Together. And today I'm going to be working with middle schoolers on bystander behavior, how they can get involved and stop bullying without feeling like a nerd or a geek or worried about their safety or security. Enjoy today's video. Hi everybody, I'm Mike Dreiblatt. I'm the author of the book, How to Stop Bullying and Social Aggression. And today we're going to be starting our Stand Up to Bullying series. But just so we're all on the same page, so that we all have the same information. When I'm talking about bullying is the abuse of the difference in power. Somebody has more power, somebody has less power, and those with more power are abusing those who have less power. Get the idea? All right, it's not two girls arguing about a seat on the bus. That's my seat on the bus. That's my seat on the bus. That's my seat on the bus. That's a fight. That's a misbehavior. Might even be funny if you're the one watching it. That's not bullying. When we're talking about bullying, here, do it with me. Do it with me. Somebody has more power. Somebody has less power. And those with more power are... Ow, it hurts, doesn't it? Really does hurt. Somebody is really being abused. Key word here, we're talking about the abuse of the difference in power. Parents have power over children. Hopefully, they're not being bullies. Teachers have power over students. Hopefully, they're not bullies. All right? When we're talking about bullying, we're talking about that abuse of the difference in power. It could be there's 5 of us versus 1 of you. You do the math. 5 against 1. Is that a fair fight? No. Difference in power. Difference in power. It could be that we've been at the school longer, or I have more friends at this school. And there's actually different types of bullying that shows up. Sometimes when I'm working with younger kids, I will define bullying as being mean or leaving people out on purpose. It's that on purpose part that's really important here. You know exactly what you're doing. It's not by accident that we're leaving someone out. It's that we're all friends and we decide that we're going to leave you out today on purpose. Get the idea? And there's actually this difference in power. There's actually different forms of bullying that shows up. Different forms of this abuse of the difference in power. And I probably should have done this when you all came in. When I say the word go, would you turn to the people next to you, in front of you, on the side of you, behind you, and just introduce yourself, just kind of say hello. Ready? Go!
I couldn't really hear it, but it's interesting. About the bullying. I couldn't really hear it, but it's interesting.
You remember how you said hello to the people next to you, in front of you, on the side of you, behind you? In a minute, I'm going to ask you to talk with those people about different types of bullying you've seen or heard about. It could have really happened in your life. Or maybe you heard about it from a friend. Maybe it's not even real. Maybe you read it in a book or saw it on a video or saw it in a movie. You're going to talk about that abuse of the difference in power. You'll share a little bit, they'll share a little bit, and then I'm going to bring you back together. I'm going to say the word go. That will be your signal. When I say the word go, you're going to start. Ready? People back in the classrooms, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing also. Your teachers are going to break you into groups. Ready? Go!
I like strawberry, sherbet, and chocolate.
That sounds good. I like flurries.
What's your second?
Slowly coming back together. Hey, how many of you like cartoons? I do. I love cartoons. I love cartoons. You ever notice in cartoons, whenever they show a bully, they will usually show a physical bully? You know what I'm talking about? Some kind of Popeye Bluto character. You know what I'm talking about? Some big, large knuckle dragger. You know, gonna meet you behind the slide. Pound you in the ground. Make you feel pain. And there's actually some truth to this. There are physical bullies. Physical bullies are action-oriented. They use their bodies. They are not always the biggest. they are not always the strongest. But physical bullies are action-oriented. They use their bodies. These are the pushers, the kickers, the spitters, the kneers, the elbowers. Sometimes it's not even that they actually punch or kick or spit, but sometimes they make you think that they're going to punch or kick or spit. You know what I'm talking about? You're hanging out in the hallway, you're hanging out by your lockers, and every day some kid walks by you and does one of these. You know, and then you get all jittery. They never actually touch you, but there you are kind of short-circuiting in the hallway, just never actually touching, but you're waiting for it. Physical bullies are action-oriented. They use their bodies. But don't always think about the most outrageous forms of bullying. Don't always go to the most outrageous types. I'm looking out in the audience, and I see a number of you who have long hair. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever been sitting in class and there's that kid who's sitting behind you and all of a sudden they're like, and you're like, stop it, stop it. They can blow on your hair. You can't blow on their hair. You ever been in class and there's that kid who sits behind you in class and they start whap, 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 start kicking your chair, whap, 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 and you're like, stop it, stop it. They can kick your chair. You can't kick their chair. They can reach into your desk. They can touch your supplies. You're not allowed to reach into their desk and touch their supplies. They go into your book bag. You're not allowed to go into their book bag. Can you see that difference in power, that abuse of the difference in power? Physical bullies are action-oriented. And my experience has been, tell me if you found this to be the case, my experience has been, if there's a type of bullying caught at schools, it's often physical bullying. And it makes sense why. I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, even a new teacher on staff, when they see that circle of kids surrounding one child, they know they're supposed to do something. When they see this, they're like, ooh, I've got to do something about that. That's not right. Teachers come running. School staff isn't always sure what to do once they get there. But if there's a type of bullying caught at school, it's often physical bullying because it's so obvious. It's so obvious. You can just see it from so far away. Physical bullying is the type of bullying most often caught at schools. And actually, it's the least common form of bullying. It's the one that we catch the most because it's so obvious. But much more common is something called verbal bullying. Verbal bullying, here the difference in power is the use of language. This is that person who can come out like with 5 lines before you can even come out with one, and you come back with something like, oh yeah, well, you too, or something like that. Wow, good one. How'd you come up with that one? Smoking, And sometimes verbal bullies don't even think of themselves as being bullies. How could you call me a bully? I'm a funny guy, I'm a funny girl. I've got 5 people over here laughing. How could you call me a bully? And they're right, they have a point. There are 5 people over here laughing. They don't notice there's one very upset person over here. They don't notice it's always Steve that we make fun of. Steve is always the butt of the joke. And if Steve says anything back, you shut up, Steve. Can you feel that difference in power? Difference in power. Okay. By the way, how many of you have laptops at home? Cell phones? Okay. Anybody play Xbox Live? Online gaming? PlayStation 3? Club Penguin? Okay. Got a couple. If you use technology for that difference in power, it's called cyberbullying. Sending somebody unwanted text messages, breaking into their Facebook account, writing mean things on their MySpace wall. Difference in power is the use of technology. Hitting *67 and prank phone calling their phone over and over and over and over and over and over again. Can you feel that difference in power? Difference in power. And by the way, who came up with *67? Go ahead. The telephone company. Who knows how to get around *67? The telephone company. Everything you do on a computer, everything you do with technology leaves some form of cyber footprint. It always leaves something behind. Now, sometimes I get kids who say, oh no, not on my cell phone, not on my laptop, because I delete my history. I erase my history when I leave a site. And you know, you can do that. You can delete your history. you know there's still a part that's still on your computer. And it would take the police like all of 5 or 10 minutes to figure out everything that has ever come into your computer or cell phone and everything that has ever gone out. So keep that in mind. Everything that you do with technology leaves a cyber footprint. Okay. By the way, I'm going to talk to the girls for a second. Girls, have you ever seen two BFFs? You know what I'm talking about? Best friends forever. They are so close. They walk alike. They talk alike. They dress alike. I try on your clothes. You try on my clothes. I put on your makeup. You put on my makeup. Try on each other's stuff. You know, they talk alike. They walk alike. Together, they're always, all the time. Have you ever seen when these two BFFs go from like being best friends and all of a sudden they have a war? And they go from like being best friends to boom, worst enemies. Okay. Now back when we were BFFs, I used to share things with you, you used to share things with me. Maybe we even shared passwords. Ooh, warning, warning, danger, danger, danger. You never share passwords. Because that old BFF that you shared your password with 6 months ago, well, they remember that password. And now they're no longer your BFF. Now they're your worst enemy. And they're able to break into your account, write mean things, maybe even pretend that they're you and send out messages like they're coming from you. So, of course, you keep passwords quiet. You don't share them. And some people will tell me, oh, it's okay. I can change my password. I know how to change my password, and I can change my password. You're right. You can absolutely change your password. Or your BFF, the old BFF, might have beaten you to it and already locked you out of the account. Or maybe you even forgot your password. I could change my password, I just don't even remember what my password is. So passwords are kept secret. Got the idea? All right, last one, and then we're going to move on. This last one is called relational bullying, aka also known as social aggression. This is that type of bullying, do this or I won't be your friend. Do that or I won't be your friend. If you want to hang out with us, you can't hang out with those losers you used to hang out with. Wednesday is pink day. You don't wear pink, you don't get to sit at the cool kids table. It's gossiping, it's rumor spreading, it's manipulation. It's like we're all friends, but like today we hate you. We kick you out of the group, we're not talking to you, not friends with you. A few days later we like you, but now we kick you out of the group. Not friends with you, won't talk with you. You know, a few days later we like you, now we kick you out. A few days later, we let you back in the group. We were mean to you, but finally we let you back in. A few days later, they kick me out of the group. It's like, who do we hate today? Who is the odd kid out today? Has anybody here ever seen the movie Mean Girls? Okay. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is that type of behavior. Do this or I won't be your friend. Do that or I won't be your friend. The good news is most kids are not bullies. Good news is most of us are not the targets of bullies. What most of us are the bystanders. You're the ones that see bullying, you're the ones that hear bullying, and you are the ones that can stop the bullying. Bullies may do mean things, but they're not stupid. Do you think they're going to bully under the teacher's nose? Probably not. Do you think they're going to bully in front of the principal? Probably not. Bullying happens in less structured environments. On the way to school, on the way back from school, that back staircase or that back hallway or that far corner of the recess field where nobody goes. And by the way, somewhere around this point in the presentation, I will often look out into the audience and I'll see people and they're kind of like looking down or they don't want to make eye contact with me. And I'm like, why are they looking down? Why won't they look at me? And I imagine what they might be feeling is like, that's me. I've done some of these behaviors. I've been a bully. If you see yourself up there, if you notice yourself, forgive yourself. I mean it, really, forgive yourself. Look, you're definitely getting older. You're in middle school. You're definitely getting wiser, but you're still growing. If you've made a mistake and done some of these bullying behaviors, forgive yourself. You can never do it again. Now you know better. But if you've made a mistake in the past, forgive yourself. I really mean it. How many of you have ever been to a restaurant? Yeah, duh, you know? Sure. You know when you go to a restaurant, you know how when you go to a restaurant they give you out menus and you have the food choices listed on the menus? You pick the food items you like, you leave the other ones behind. You know what I'm talking about? In a sense, I'm going to ask you to think about this as a menu choice. I'm going to put some ideas up here. Some of these ideas you're going to like. You're going to be like, yes, that's a good idea. I can do that. I like that idea. Some of these ideas you're going to like. Some of these ideas you're going to be like, no way. I can't imagine myself doing it. That's not realistic for me. I can't imagine myself doing it. Think of these as menu choice items. Pick the ones you like, leave the other ones behind. And I'm going to start off with a fairly easy one. The first one is not join in, remove yourself. You remember when you were younger, you were out on recess field and you're kind of hanging out at recess and you're like, nothing much going on here, I'm kind of bored. And you look over there and maybe there's some bullying going on or maybe it's just a misbehavior and you're like, well, I've got nothing else going on, I think I'll go over and watch the show. And so you walk over, you're going to watch the show. You are not joining in on the bullying, you're just watching what's going on. And then some like teacher or principal comes over and be like, all you kids are in trouble, all of you kids are going to my office. And you're like, what? I didn't even do anything. And they're like, well, if you were there, you get in trouble too. And you got in trouble for just being nearby when the bullying was happening. Has that ever happened to anybody? Sure, it used to happen to me all the time. If you are nearby bullying, get yourself out of there. Don't be nearby. Don't be around. You might get in trouble. Also, if you are nearby, bullies might take that as permission. Like, hey, I guess you must have enjoyed the show. I guess you must have liked it. You stood around. I guess you were okay with the bullying. They take that as permission. I got to be honest with you. I would love for you to be able to tell the bullies like to knock it off or to stop it. But the truth is, I know sometimes it's scary to tell a bully to stop it. So don't join in, remove yourself, get yourself out of there, don't be nearby. Like I said, if you know the bullies, if you like the bullies, you can actually tell the bullies to stop. I know the bullies, I like the bullies, I'm not afraid of the bullies. I'm not afraid they're going to attack me. I'm not afraid they're going to come after me. You can tell them to stop. Look, I'm old. You're young, okay? I understand this. Look, it's true. I'm old. You're young. Find the words that work for you. But you're going to tell them, stop it. Knock it off. No more. I don't like it. Don't do that. Not on this bus. Not around me. Sometimes it's just giving a look. You don't even have to say anything. Like, really? Really? You're really going to do that around me? Really? You're really going to do that? Sometimes if you're the right person, you can just give a look. Or it's like, dude, man, what are you thinking? Look, I understand I'm old, you're young. Find the words that work for you. But you're going to tell the bullies to stop. This is also a good one if, let's say, it's like little kid bullies. Let's say like a third grader is bullying a first grader. And you're like, well, that's not right. A third grader picking on a first grader, that's not right. And you're like, I've got no problem going over to a third grader and telling them to stop. Sometimes works well for like littler kids or someone where you feel safe. Okay, other choices, menu choices, menu choices. Some other things to think about. Here's another choice. This one is separate the bullies away from the person being bullied. Sometimes I know the bullies. Sometimes I like the bullies. I'm not joking here. I really like the bullies. I like the bullies, I just don't like their bullying behavior. You can separate the bullies from the person being bullied. I like you guys, I just don't like your bullying behavior. Come up with an excuse. Be like, hey, come on guys, come on, leave that kid alone. Come on, let's go play basketball. Or, hey, teacher's looking for you, something about a science fair project. Or, hey, they're serving chicken nuggets in lunchroom. Come on, let's go get some chicken nuggets. Or, hey, we need somebody else to turn the rope for double dutch. Come up with an excuse. Find a reason to get those bullies out of there. I like the bullies, I just don't like their bullying behavior. This next one is similar but different. This is separate the person being bullied away from the bullies. When I was younger, I used to walk home from school. I went to a kindergarten through 5th grade school. I then went to a middle school for 6, 7, and 8. And then for high school, I went to a 9 through 12 high school. When I was in kindergarten through 5th grade, I lived pretty close to my school, and so I would walk back and forth. One day I'm walking home from school. I am in 5th grade. I'm all by myself. I'm walking all alone, and all of a sudden I am surrounded by a group of 7th graders. And there are like 7 7th graders, and they're making fun of me. They're making fun of my hair. They're making fun of my clothes. They're making fun of my mother. And you know what I did about it? You know what I did about it? Nothing. I did absolutely nothing. I just froze. I just froze. I don't know what to do. I just froze. This had never happened to me before. I was only in 5th grade. I didn't know what to do. You know, am I supposed to cry? Am I supposed to run away? Am I supposed to punch them in the nose? Punch them in the nose. I'd never punched anyone in the nose before. I didn't know what it was like to punch someone in the nose. And look, I'm a short little man. I was a short little kid back in the day. What, punch them in the nose? I'd never punched anyone in the nose. What am I going to do? Punch them in the nose? And there were like 7 of them. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't know what to do. I was just frozen. I actually got lucky. I got lucky. There was a group of 9th graders who were walking by, and I guess they must have seen that I was stuck, and they were like, hey, come on, little kid, you don't have to hang out with them. Come on, we'll walk you home. They got me out of there. They walked me for like a block or 2, and then I went the rest of the way by myself. Sometimes you've got to separate the person being bullied away from the bullies. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever been in like your cafeteria and somebody comes over with their lunch tray and they go to sit at the lunch table and everybody goes, no room, no room. And of course there's room. All they have to do is put their arms and legs in. And this kid's like, I don't know where to sit. I don't know what to do. And they're just kind of like standing there. You can call them over. You can say, come over to our table. You don't have to hang with those guys. You don't have to stay with those girls. Join us at our table. You can separate the person being bullied away from the bullies. This is the last one, and then I want to move on. This is the last one. I think this is the hardest one for middle schoolers and junior high school students. This one is report to a trusted adult. Report to a trusted adult. Key word here being trusted. Don't mention any names, don't say anybody's names, but how many of you have discovered that back at your school, you've got some cooler adults and some less cool adults? How many have noticed that? Absolutely. Okay. You're going to go to that cooler adult, hands down. You're going to go to that adult who you can trust. In an emergency, you'll go to any adult. But if it's not an emergency, you're going to report to that trusted adult, the one who you can trust. Now, what's the word you use here? What is it? You know, tattletale, narc, ratfink? What is it that you call, you know, tattletale baby? What do you call it around here? Tattletale, ratfink? Okay. Some people will say, I don't want to be a tattletale. If you're reporting that as being a tattletale, I've got to agree with that person. I do not want you to be a tattletale. I do not want you to be a snitch. Being a tattletale or a snitch is no good. I do not want you to be a tattletale or a snitch or anything like that. You all know what a tattletale is. A tattletale is someone who tells because they like to get someone into trouble. I like to see people get into trouble. I tell on them, yay, it's fun, yay. Not cool, not cool. Being a tattletale is no good. Telling or reporting, you're trying to get someone out of trouble. When you are ratting, you're trying to get someone into trouble. When you're tattling, you're trying to get them into trouble. When you're reporting or when you're telling, you're getting them out of trouble. Let me give you a quick example. It's a silly example, but let me give you an example. Let's imagine you're in class and teacher says to you, okay class, I'm going to hand out some books. I want you to read from page 5 to 10 in your book. You're in class, you're reading from page 5 to 10 in your book. And you look over, and the kid next to you is only pretending that they're reading. Really, they're playing a video game with the sound off. And you know they're not supposed to do that. And so you either raise your hand or you wait to be called on, and you walk over to the teacher, and you're like, oh, teacher, just want to let you know they're really playing a video game. They're not supposed to do that. You know what to do. Thank you very much. Is this okay telling, or is this tattling? All right, how many would agree that this is tattling? Okay. Was anything being hurt? Was anything being destroyed? Property damage? Anything broken? Okay, then it's not your business. Sometimes I'll get kids who will raise their hands and they're like, oh, something is being hurt, someone is being damaged. And I'm like, why? What's going on? And they're like, well, the student is hurting their own educational opportunities. Please, please. Nobody's being hurt, nothing is being done, to destroy property, not your business. Let me give you a different situation. Teacher says to you, okay, class, open up your books, read from page 5 to 10 in your book. You're reading in your book, but next to you is this weird kid. This is a squirrely kind of character. You don't like this kid. They give off like a bad vibe. Just weird. Just don't really like this kid. It's not that you're scared of them. They just give off a bad vibe. And you notice this kid is just pretending to be reading, but they're really kicking the chair of the kid in front of them. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to get you when we're on the bus. You're so dead when we're on the bus. I'm going to get you. You're so dead. Yeah, I'm throwing your books out the window. Yeah, you better run. I'm going to kick your butt. Bigger deal. Bigger deal. Here's how you can handle it. Look, in your classroom, raise your hand or wait to be called on. You're going to go over to the teacher. You don't have to tell the teacher everything. You're going to go over to the teacher and you're going to say something like, you might want to check out what's happening in the back of the room. Then you immediately say, may I go to the bathroom? Teachers, say yes. Let the student go to the bathroom. You go out to the bathroom. Teacher does nothing. Teacher doesn't get up. 10 seconds, you're in the bathroom. 20 seconds, you're in the bathroom. 30 seconds, teacher still hasn't moved. Finally, a minute and a half has gone. You've been in the bathroom for a long time. And finally, the teacher gets up, and you know how good teachers kind of walk around the room, kind of check out what's happening? They'll discover the bullying on their own. You can send an email, leave a note on the desk, wait until afterwards, send a text message. Get that information out. Let the adults know. Okay, moving onward. So, we have these different ways that we're able to stop the bullying. In a second, I'm going to put a situation on the screen. I'm going to put a situation on the screen. And you remember how you used to work with those people behind you, next to you, in front of you, on the side of you? I'm going to put a situation on the screen. I'm going to ask you to work with those people next to you, in front of you, on the side of you, and tell that person what you would do to stop the bullying. Would you not join in, remove yourself? Would you tell the bullies to stop? Would you separate the bullies away, separate the person being bullied away, or report to a trusted adult? There is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. It's more about explaining your answer. You'll explain your answer to them. They'll explain their answer to you. And again, you've got to give reasons for your answers. Here's the situation. Here's the situation. Situation is, a group of younger kids are calling a little kid names. You don't like it. Would you not join in, remove yourself? Would you tell the bullies to stop? Would you separate the bullies away? Would you separate the person being bullied away? Or would you report to a trusted adult? Please talk to the people next to you, in front of you, on the side of you, behind you right now about that.
Just really interesting. I couldn't really hear it, but it's interesting about the bullying.
All right, so different people had different answers. There is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. It's more about explaining your answers. So we have a group of younger kids are calling a little kid names, younger than you, and you're like, that's not right, picking on a little kid. So some people, when I was walking around, some people said, look, I've got no problem telling a little kid bully to stop, to telling them to knock it off. That's a great answer. Some people said, well, maybe I would separate the bullies away or get that little kid away who's being bullied. That's a great answer. For those of you who said that you would separate, that's a great answer. But make sure when you separate, you use your words. If you start yanking on people like, you little kid, come on over here. You bullies over here. Who's going to get in trouble if you start yanking on people? Yeah, I'm going to be the one who get in trouble. You're doing the right thing, but make sure you separate using your words. Some of you are looking older. Some of you are in like 7th or 8th grade, but sometimes you get mistaken for high schoolers, and people are like, look, I'm getting older now. The idea of going over to some like strange little kid doesn't feel comfortable for me. Maybe I would tell them to stop, or maybe I would just report to a trusted adult. A number of you have like, here's what I would do first, here's what I would do second, here's what I would do third, like a plan A, a backup plan B, a backup plan C. You know what I'm talking about? Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever had a plan? Have you ever had a plan and you love this plan? This is a great plan. This is a fantastic plan. This is a great plan. And then it didn't work? Anybody ever had that? Yeah. That's why you need a backup plan B. You might even need a backup plan C. You don't need like a backup plan Q, a backup plan R. Too many plans, too many plans, too many plans. All right, let's do another one, and then I'm going to bring us back together. Here's one more I'm going to ask you to do. Brianna is a new student in your school. Your friends keep on texting about Brianna in a mean way. You don't like it. Would you not join in, remove yourself, tell the bullies to stop, separate the bullies away, separate the person being bullied away, or report to a trusted adult? Go.
About the bullying. About the bullying. About the bullying. About the bullying.
So again, different people had different answers. There is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. It's more about explaining your answer. Some people said, well, wait a second. You know, I understand about not joining in. Maybe I won't pass the text messages on. Maybe I won't forward them. I understand how I cannot join in. I even understand how I could tell the bullies to stop. I've got no problems telling my friends to knock it off. Some people actually said they're a little afraid of their friends. And you know what? I understand that. They're my friends, but I'm kind of scared that they might bully me next. So maybe you're going to not join in or remove yourself. Some people said maybe I would become friends with Brianna. Maybe that's how I would separate her away. People said they really couldn't separate the bullies away, but definitely people said if it was bad enough, they're going to report to a trusted adult, maybe print out that message and show it to someone who they can trust. Makes good sense. Different people have different answers. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. It's more about explaining your answer. And sometimes people will say to me, well, wait a second, Mike. I was just kidding. I was just fooling around. I didn't mean anything by it. You don't get how we roll here because you're just all old, you know. You know what? I understand that. That does make sense. Friends tease each other. Friends will sometimes tease each other. It's not always okay to do here at school, but friends tease each other. Does anybody here have an aunt or an uncle who plays with them in like a teasy way? Anybody? Okay, good, hands down. Does anybody have an aunt or an uncle who takes it way too far and just really pushes it over the line? It's left being playful teasing, and now it's becoming hurtful taunting. Okay, definitely we all have had that, but you can tell the difference. So you can tell the difference between playful teasing, which is okay, and hurtful taunting, which is a form of bullying. You can tell the difference because when it's playful teasing, I can make fun of you, you can make fun of me, I can make fun of your big Dumbo ears, you can make fun of my large banana nose. It goes back and forth, both ways. You get the idea? When it's playful teasing, everyone's dignity is maintained. I'm not making fun of your mother's alcoholism. I'm not making fun of your father's mental problems. Okay? I'm not going after anything too important. Okay? When it's playful teasing, it's meant to be funny. It's meant to get a laugh. It's supposed to be something that's enjoyable. It's something that we both laugh at. And if I say to you something like, hey, look, do me a favor. Look, do me a favor. You've made fun of my big banana nose enough. Look, I get it. I got a big nose. Enough already. Enough with the big banana nose. If I ask you to stop making fun of my big banana nose, in playful teasing, you actually stop making fun of my big banana nose. You actually respect that. In hurtful taunting, when it's hurtful taunting, you know exactly what you're saying. You're using words like they're a knife. You're like sticking it in and like twisting it around. It's a horrible image, isn't it? But you know exactly what you're doing. You're picking these words because you know they hurt. You might make it out like it's a joke, but it's really racist or sexist, making fun of somebody's hair color, making fun of somebody's skin color, making fun of their religion, where they come from, body types, things that we really care about. That's how you can tell it's hurtful taunting. And when it's hurtful taunting, there's an imbalance of power. I get to make fun of you, and you shut up and you take it. Goes one way, difference in power. And when it's hurtful taunting, if I say to you, hey, do me a favor, I get it, I got a big nose. Stop making fun of my big nose. What do you especially make fun of when it's hurtful taunting? My big nose, exactly, my big banana nose. You know exactly what you're saying, and you're saying it on purpose. In a moment, I'm going to put a situation on the screen. I'm going to ask you to think about this situation. I'm going to read it out loud to the group. I'm going to ask you to think about, is this playful teasing, which is okay, or hurtful taunting, a form of bullying? I'm going to read this out loud to the group, and then I'm going to ask you to call out if it's playful teasing or hurtful taunting. Playful teasing or hurtful taunting. As a new student, Bart was still trying to fit in and make friends. At lunch, someone slid a whoopee cushion on Bart's seat. It made a farting sound when he sat down. The other kids started calling Bart the fart. Bart asked people to stop calling him Bart the fart. Now they call him Fathead Farty. Bart is miserable. Call it out. Playful teasing or hurtful taunting? Good. We're asking you to raise your hand and wait to be called on before speaking out. What are the indicators that are letting you know that this is probably hurtful taunting? Good. Go ahead. They won't stop it. Okay, keeps on going. Okay, good. What else is letting you know that this is probably hurtful taunting, a form of bullying? He doesn't feel good about it. Bart is miserable. Yeah, duh, that's a big one, right? That's a good one. Good. What else is letting you know that this is probably hurtful taunting? Yeah, they make fun of him. He doesn't say anything back. He's new. He's still trying to fit in. He doesn't have any friends. They make fun of him. He doesn't say anything back. He asked them to stop. Did they stop calling him Bart the fart? Yeah. Well, they kind of stopped calling him Bart the fart. But now they're calling him Fathead Farty, which is a lot worse. They've upped it. Not only didn't they stop it, they actually upped it. This is probably a form of hurtful taunting. How about this one? Playful teasing or hurtful taunting? Playful teasing or hurtful taunting. Debbie is 6 inches taller than the next tallest student in her grade. Two girls sitting with a bunch of other students say, "Hey, Shorty, how's the weather up there?" Debbie rolled her eyes and half smiled at the lame use of humor. Then one of the girls said, "Debbie, come over and tell us about that basketball camp you went to." Debbie sat down at the table and said, "Okay, little people, let me tell you about meeting Shaquille O'Neal." All right, call it out. Playful teasing or hurtful taunting? Okay, most of us thought it was playful teasing. Please raise your hand and wait to be called on. What are the indicators that are letting you know this is probably playful teasing? Probably playful teasing. Go. All right, they called her Shorty. She gave them something back. She called them little people. Good. What else is letting you know this is probably playful teasing? Good. Go ahead. Yeah, she seems okay about it. She half smiled and rolled her eyes. I kind of imagine Debbie kind of like, "That's the best you have? That's the best? Really? Really?" You know, she doesn't seem all that bothered by it. Be careful. Sometimes people will smile even though they are being bullied. They're like, "I don't know what to do." You know, and they smile even though they're really being bullied. But I agree with you. In this case, it doesn't seem like Debbie is bothered. Good. What else is letting you know this is probably playful teasing, which is okay?
Because then the girls lost the joke and they said, "Debbie, come over and tell us about the basketball camp."
Yeah, the conversation moved on. They started talking about different things. They started talking about basketball camp and meeting Shaquille O'Neal. If they were like, "Hey, Shorty, hey, little people, hey, fatty, hey, moron," and it was back and forth, that wouldn't be okay. The conversation actually moved on. All right, so we're starting to come down to our last few minutes today. We've learned that there's something called playful teasing, which is okay, and then there's hurtful taunting, which is a form of bullying. We know that bullying, that abuse of the difference in power, can show up in different ways: physical, verbal, cyber, or that relational bullying. We know that bystanders control everything. Bystanders have the power to stop the bullying. When bystanders intervene, when bystanders get involved, bullying tends to go down. You have choices. You can not join in, remove yourself. You can tell the bullies to stop. You can separate the bullies away. You can separate the person being bullied away, or report to a trusted adult. You all have been an excellent audience. I really appreciate it. Would you all give yourselves a round of applause? You did an excellent job. Great job. Great job. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the other videos in my bullying prevention series.